The alarm bells rang through the command center of the Galactic Hegemony. High Counselor Vextar stood tall on his four legs, his green scales catching the light from the warning displays. His red eyes focused on the hologram showing a small, yellow star far away from their empire. "What is this about?" Vextar asked his aide. "Sir, our scouts found something strange. There is a species near the Sol system. They call themselves humans." Vextar laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. "Another primitive race? Why should I care?" The aide's face turned pale. "Sir, they have ships. Fast ships. Our scouts barely escaped." For 12,000 years, the Galactic Hegemony had ruled over half the galaxy. 12 different alien species worked together under their control. They had conquered hundreds of worlds and destroyed any race that fought back. The humans were just another small problem to solve. On Earth, Admiral Tae Min walked through the halls of the Human Defense Command. He was a tall man with short black hair and serious eyes. The weight of protecting his entire species rested on his shoulders. He had fought in many battles, but nothing like what was coming. "Admiral," called Captain Sora as she ran to catch up with him. She was young but smart, with the kind of mind that could solve problems others could not see. "The long-range sensors are picking up movement. A lot of movement." Tae Min stopped walking. "How many?" 200 ships, sir. They are heading straight for Earth." General Wu Jin joined them in the command room. He was Tae Min's oldest friend and best advisor. His face showed worry, but his voice stayed calm. "The aliens are coming to talk or to fight. Based on what our deep space probes recorded, I think they want to fight." The three humans looked at the star map. Red dots showed the enemy fleet moving toward their home. The aliens would arrive in 6 days. "What do we know about them?" Tae Min asked. Sora pulled up data on her tablet. "They call themselves the Galactic Hegemony. 12 different alien species working together. They have conquered most of this part of the galaxy. When they find a new species, they give 2 choices: join them or die." "How many worlds have they taken?" Wu Jin asked. "Over 3,000, Sora answered. "No one has ever fought them and won." Tae Min studied the data. The alien ships were bigger than human ships. They had better shields and more weapons. By all logic, humanity should surrender now and hope for mercy. But Tae Min knew something the aliens did not. Humans were different from other species. When other races faced a stronger enemy, they would give up or follow the old ways of fighting. Humans adapted. Humans learned. Humans found ways to win when winning seemed impossible. "Send word to all defense fleets," Tae Min ordered. "We fight." On the Hegemony command ship, General Kethavor looked at the data about humans. They were a young species that had only learned to fly between stars 50 years ago. Their technology was simple. Their ships were small. This would be easy. "How many ships do they have?" he asked his intelligence officer. "Maybe 100, sir. All small fighters and light cruisers. Nothing like our heavy battleships." Kethavor felt pleased. He had conquered 47 worlds in his long career. The humans would make it 48. His species, the Corvani, were natural warriors. They stood 8 feet tall with thick gray skin and 4 arms. In battle, few could match them. "Prepare. The standard surrender message," he told his communications officer. "Tell them to give up now or we will destroy their world." The message reached Earth 2 days before the alien fleet arrived. Tae Min listened to the alien words translated by the computer. "People of Earth, you will join the Galactic Hegemony. You will serve us. You will give us your resources and your workers. If you refuse, we will destroy your cities and kill your people. You have 1 day to answer." The world leaders met in emergency session. Some wanted to surrender. The aliens were too strong, they said. Humanity was too young to fight such an old and powerful empire. But Admiral Tae Min had a different plan. He had spent years studying how other species fought. Most aliens followed the same patterns their ancestors used for thousands of years. They did not change. They did not adapt. Humans were different. "We send no answer," Tae Min told the world leaders. Let them think we are afraid. Let them think we will be easy to defeat. Captain Sora prepared her ship, the Defiance. It was smaller than the alien vessels, but it had something they did not expect: human creativity. The ship's weapons could change direction in the middle of a battle. Its armor could absorb energy and turn it into power for the engines. Most important, Sora and her crew could think of new tactics in seconds. The alien fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. 200 massive ships, each one bigger than a human city. Their weapons could destroy mountains. Their shields could stop any attack humanity had ever seen. General HFY War smiled as he looked at the small human fleet waiting for them. Maybe 80 ships, all tiny compared to his mighty vessels. This would be over in an hour. Attack formation, he ordered. Destroy half their fleet, then demand surrender again. The alien ships moved forward in perfect lines, just like they had done for thousands of years. Their tactics never changed because they never needed to change. They always won. But today was different. Admiral Taman watched from his command ship as the enemy approached. All ships, begin Plan Alpha. The human ships scattered in all directions. Instead of forming lines like normal space battles, they flew in random patterns. Some ships flew straight up, others dove down. A few flew straight at the enemy, then turned away at the last second. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Their targeting computers could not lock onto ships moving so strangely. Their weapons, designed to fight enemies in neat formations, kept missing. Captain Sora flew her ship between two alien vessels. Her weapons fired at their engines, not their thick armor. While they turned to chase her, other human ships attacked from behind. "What are they doing?" General HFY War shouted. "This is not how space battles work." But for humans, there was no right way to fight. There was only winning and losing. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, all 200 alien ships were destroyed or disabled. The humans lost only 12 vessels. One alien ship escaped, badly damaged but still able to fly. General HFY War was dead, but his second-in-command made it back to hegemony space with terrible news. "They destroyed everything," he told High Counselor Vextar. "The humans fight like no species we have ever seen. They do not follow the rules of war. They do not fight with honor. They fight only to win." Vextar looked at the recordings from the battle. The human ships moved like living things, never staying still, always changing tactics. Their weapons hit weak points the aliens did not know they had. "Send word to the Emperor," Vextar said quietly. "We have found something new in the galaxy, something dangerous." On Earth, Admiral Taman stood in his office looking out at the stars. The first battle was won, but he knew more would come. The aliens would send bigger fleets. They would try harder to destroy humanity. But humans had shown the galaxy something important. They had proven that the old ways could be beaten by new ideas. They had proven that a young species could defeat an ancient empire. The war was just beginning. General Wu Jin entered the office. "The world leaders want to celebrate our victory." "Not yet," Tai Min replied. "They will come back with more ships. More weapons. We need to be ready." "What do you want to do?" Tai Min turned from the window. His eyes held a look that would soon become famous across the galaxy. It was the look of a human who had decided to fight no matter the cost. "We prepare for total war." 3 months passed after the first battle. In the great capital city of the Galactic Hegemony, Emperor Kolthron sat on his crystal throne. He was old, even for his long-lived species. For 8,000 years he had ruled the empire. Never before had anyone destroyed an entire hegemony fleet. "Show me the recordings again," he ordered his advisors. The hologram displayed the battle near Earth. Human ships moved like insects, quick and unpredictable. They attacked weak spots that hegemony engineers thought were protected. Worst of all, they seemed to learn new tactics while fighting. "How is this possible?" asked Minister Yeldan, a thin creature with 6 arms and purple skin. "The humans have only traveled between stars for 50 years. We have fought wars for 10,000 years. Emperor Kolthron studied the images. Because they do not think like us. We follow the old ways, the proven ways. These humans, They make new ways. High Counselor Vextar entered the throne room. His scales looked darker than usual, a sign of worry among his people. Emperor, we have a problem. Word of our defeat is spreading. Some of our client species are asking questions. They wonder if the hegemony is still strong. The Emperor's eyes glowed brighter. Then we must show them our strength. Prepare the Grand Fleet. Every ship, every soldier. We will crush these humans and show the galaxy that the hegemony cannot be defeated. While the aliens planned their next move, Captain Hyunsu floated in the darkness of space. His ship, the Silent Hunter, was invisible to alien sensors. Special human technology bent light around the vessel, making it disappear like a ghost. Hyunsu was a patient man with sharp eyes and steady hands. He had volunteered for the most dangerous mission humanity had ever attempted, spying on the enemy in their own space. Lieutenant Yoonji, what are you hearing? He whispered to his communications officer. Yoonji was young but brilliant with languages. In 3 months, she had learned to understand 5 different alien tongues. Her fingers danced over the controls as she listened to enemy radio signals. Captain, they are moving ships from all over their empire. I count maybe 10,000 vessels gathering at their main base. Hyunsu felt his blood turn cold. 10,000 ships. Humanity had maybe 300 vessels total, and most were small fighters. Are you sure? He asked. Yes, sir. And Captain, they are also talking about something else. They keep mentioning the human problem and final solution. Hyunsu understood. The aliens were not just planning to defeat humanity. They wanted to wipe out every human in the galaxy. Far away on Earth, Admiral Taemin received Captain Hyunsu's reports. The situation was worse than he had feared. The entire hegemony was mobilizing for war. We need allies, General Wu Jin said during their morning meeting. We cannot fight the whole galaxy alone. Captain Sora looked up from her tactical plans. What about the other species the hegemony conquered? Maybe some of them would help us. It is worth trying, Taemin agreed. But first we should try talking to the hegemony leaders. Maybe we can avoid this war. Minister Da Yoon was chosen to lead the peace mission. She was a diplomat, trained in dealing with other cultures and species. Her ship, the Hope's Light, carried no weapons. Instead, it broadcast messages of peace in 12 different languages. Da Yoon was a brave woman who believed that all intelligent species could find common ground. She had spent her life studying alien cultures, learning their customs and values. If anyone could make peace, it was her. Her ship traveled slowly toward the hegemony border, sending peaceful messages ahead. We come to talk. We want no war. We believe all species can live together in peace. The hegemony response came quickly. A fleet of 50 ships surrounded the Hope's Light. Admiral Corval, a 4-armed warrior with red eyes, commanded the interception force. Human vessel, you will surrender immediately, his voice boomed over the radio. You have entered hegemony space without permission. Da Yoon kept her voice calm and friendly. Admiral Corval, we come in peace. I am Minister Da Yoon of Earth. I carry an official message from our government to your Emperor. We wish to discuss ending this conflict before more beings die. There is nothing to discuss. You will surrender or be destroyed. Please, Admiral, we do not want war. Surely we can find a peaceful solution. For a moment, there was silence. Then Admiral Corval laughed, a harsh sound that made the human crew shiver. You want peace? I will show you hegemony peace. The alien weapons fired. The Hope's Light had no shields, no armor, no way to defend itself. The ship exploded in seconds, killing Minister Da Yoon and all 30 crew members. But the aliens were not finished. They recorded the destruction and broadcast it across human space with a message. This is what happens to those who oppose the hegemony. Surrender now or share this fate. When Admiral Taemin saw the recording, his face turned hard as stone. Da Yoon had been a good friend and a true believer in peace. She had died trying to save both species from a terrible war. General Wu Jin entered the command room and saw Taemin staring at the empty space where the Hope's Light had been destroyed. They did not have to kill her, Wu Jin said quietly. No, they did not. Taemin turned to face his old friend. His eyes held a coldness that had not been there before. "Send a message to the World Council. Tell them I am requesting Protocol Omega." Protocol Omega was humanity's most secret plan. It meant total war, no mercy, no surrender. Fight until one side was completely destroyed. "Are you sure?" Wu Jin asked. "Once we start down this path, there is no going back. They made the choice when they murdered Daun. We offered peace, they chose war." While Admiral Tae-min prepared for Protocol Omega, Captain Hyun-soo continued his dangerous mission in enemy space. His ship ghosted past alien patrol fleets, recording their movements and positions. Lieutenant Eun-ji listened to their communications, learning their plans. "Captain," she whispered one night, "I have been listening to their private military channels. They are not just gathering ships. They are also moving their population centers away from the border." "What do you mean?" "They are evacuating their civilians from systems near human space, moving them deeper into their territory. Why would they do that unless—" She paused, understanding hitting her like a cold wave. "Unless they plan to use weapons that destroy everything," Hyun-soo finished. "Not just military targets, everything. The aliens were preparing for genocide." Back on Earth, the World Council met in emergency session. Representatives from every nation gathered to hear Admiral Tae-min's request for Protocol Omega. "Members of the Council," Tae-min began, "the Galactic Hegemony has shown us who they truly are. They do not want to conquer us. They want to exterminate us. Our choice is simple: fight with everything we have, or watch our species die." Some council members argued for surrender. The aliens were too powerful, they said. Humanity was too young, too weak. But Captain Sora stood up to speak. She had fought in the first battle and seen what humans could do when they fought smart, instead of following old rules. "Council members, I was there when we destroyed their first fleet. Yes, they have more ships. Yes, they have bigger weapons. But they have one weakness. They cannot change. They fight the same way their grandparents fought. We can adapt, we can learn, we can win." The vote was close, but Protocol Omega was approved. As the council members left, Admiral Tae-min remained behind with his closest advisors, General Wu Jin, Captain Sora, and a few others who would help plan humanity's war for survival. "How long do we have?" Sora asked. "Captain Hyun-soo reports the main alien fleet will be ready to move in 6 weeks, Tae-min replied. "That gives us 6 weeks to prepare for the largest space battle in galactic history." "What are our orders, sir?" General Wu Jin asked. "Admiral..." Tae-min looked around the room at the faces of humanity's best military minds. Soon, they would face an enemy that had conquered thousands of worlds, an enemy that had never lost a war. "We do what humans do best," he said. "We find a way to win." In the deep darkness between the stars, Captain Hyun-soo's invisible ship continued to watch and learn. The aliens were gathering their forces, confident in their superior numbers and ancient experience. They did not understand that they were being hunted by a species that had learned to survive by being smarter, faster, and more ruthless than anything else on their world. The hunters were about to become the hunted. Admiral Zethkol stood on the bridge of his massive flagship, watching 10,000 ships prepare for battle. He was the hegemony's greatest military commander, a veteran of 300 campaigns. In his long life, he had never lost a war. "Kalnars, fleets report ready, Admiral," his aide announced. Zethkol nodded his large head. His species, the Vorthak, were natural strategists. They planned every battle down to the smallest detail. Nothing was left to chance. "Begin the advance to human space," he ordered. "We end this threat today." The great fleet began to move, a wall of metal and energy weapons stretching across space. Each ship was bigger than anything humanity had built. Their combined firepower could crack planets in half. But hundreds of light years away, Admiral Tae-min was not waiting for the enemy to come to him. "Begin Operation Lightning Strike," he commanded from the Human Command Center. Across 17 different star systems, human ships appeared from nowhere. Captain Jin Woo led a squadron of stealth destroyers against the alien fuel depot at Kepler Station. His ship struck fast and hard, destroying the massive storage tanks that supplied the hegemony warfleet. At the same time, Captain Ye Jin commanded a heavy assault force attacking the alien shipyard at Vega Prime. Her vessels, armed with new quantum torpedoes designed by Dr. Sheng Ho, punched through defenses that had protected the system for 1,000 years. Captain Dong Hyun specialized in ground warfare. His forces landed on 3 different worlds, capturing the communication centers that connected the hegemony's vast empire. In minutes, the aliens lost contact with half their territory. "What is happening?" Admiral Zethkol demanded as reports flooded in. "How are they attacking 17 systems at once? They only have 300 ships." His intelligence officer, a nervous creature with too many eyes, studied the incoming data. "Sir, it appears they divided their forces into small groups. Each group is attacking a different target." "Impossible. No sane commander divides his forces when facing a superior enemy." But humans were not like other species. While aliens gathered all their ships into one great fleet, humans scattered across the galaxy like a swarm of deadly insects. Each group struck where the enemy was weakest, then disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. Captain Jinwoo's stealth destroyers hit the fuel depot so fast that the alien defenders never saw them coming. The facility exploded in a ball of flame that could be seen from orbit. Without fuel, hundreds of hegemony ships would be stranded in space. "Target destroyed," Jinwoo reported to Admiral Taemin. Moving to secondary objective, Captain Ye Jin faced heavier resistance at the shipyard. The aliens had powerful defense platforms and patrol fleets protecting their manufacturing center. But Dr. Sheng Ho's quantum weapons changed everything. "Fire quantum torpedoes," Ye Jin ordered. The strange weapons did not explode like normal missiles. Instead, they passed right through the alien shields as if they were not there, then detonated inside the enemy ships. The aliens had never seen anything like it. "How are their weapons getting through our shields?" the base commander screamed. His chief engineer had no answer. The human weapons used principles of physics that the hegemony did not understand. While the aliens had spent thousands of years perfecting old technology, humans had invented completely new ways to fight. Captain Dong Hyun's ground assault was the most dangerous mission. His soldiers had to land on alien worlds and fight face-to-face with enemy troops. But humans had advantages that the aliens did not expect. "Remember," Dong Hyun told his troops as their landing ships approached the planet's surface. "They are bigger and stronger than us, but we are faster and smarter. Use that." The alien defenders were Corvani warriors, 8-foot-tall giants with 4 arms and thick skin. They had conquered 100 worlds with their strength and ferocity, but they had never fought humans before. Human soldiers were smaller, but they moved like lightning. Where the aliens expected a direct attack, humans appeared from behind. Where the aliens set up strong defenses, humans found weak spots that no one had noticed. "They fight like cowards," roared General Kethamar, the Corvani commander. "They do not stand and fight with honor." But honor meant nothing to humans who were fighting for their species' survival. They used every trick, every advantage, every dirty tactic they could think of. While the aliens followed ancient codes of warfare, humans broke every rule to win. Within 6 hours, all 17 attacks were complete. The hegemony's fuel supplies were destroyed. Their main shipyards were burning wreckage. Their communication networks were silent. Admiral Zethkol stared at the reports in disbelief. In one day, the humans had crippled infrastructure it had taken centuries to build. "How many ships did they lose?" he asked. 12, sir. They lost only 12 ships. Zethkol felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. The humans were not fighting like any enemy he had ever faced. They were not trying to win battles. They were trying to win the war. "Send word to all remaining bases," he ordered. "Maximum alert. The humans, they are not what we thought they were." On Earth, Admiral Taemin reviewed the results of Operation Lightning Strike. The attacks had succeeded beyond his best hopes. The alien war machine was damaged but not destroyed. Now came the hard part. "Phase 2 begins immediately," he announced to his commanders. "Captain Sora, take your experimental wing and begin harassing their supply lines. Captain Hyun-soo continued deep reconnaissance. I want to know every move they make. General Woo Jin looked concerned. Admiral, our intelligence suggests they still have over 9,000 ships. We have maybe 250 left after the attacks. Numbers do not tell the whole story, Taemin replied. They have 9,000 ships, but they also have 9,000 targets to protect. We have fewer ships, but we can strike anywhere at any time. Captain Sora prepared her new squadron for the next phase of operations. Her ships were equipped with Dr. Shung Ho's latest invention, adaptive weapons that could change their attack type in the middle of battle. The aliens adapt slowly, Dr. Shung Ho explained as he showed her the weapon systems. They see an attack that works, then spend days modifying their defenses. By then, we have already changed our weapons to use a different method. How many different attack modes? Sora asked. 17 different types of energy plus physical projectiles plus quantum disruption. The moment they figure out how to stop one type, we switch to another. Sora smiled. It was the kind of solution only humans would think of. Instead of building one perfect weapon, they built weapons that could become anything they needed. The harassment campaign began immediately. Human ships appeared near alien convoys, destroyed half the vessels, then vanished before help could arrive. When the aliens sent escorts, the humans attacked the escorts and ignored the convoys. When the aliens used different routes, human intelligence, networks told them exactly where to strike. Captain Hyun-soo's spy ships had been busy. Using their invisibility technology, they had planted listening devices throughout hegemony space. Every alien communication was intercepted. Every ship movement was tracked. Every plan was known before it was executed. We can hear everything they say, Lieutenant Yoonji reported to Admiral Taemin. Their military codes, their supply schedules, their troop movements. It is like they are fighting with their eyes closed. But the aliens were learning too, in their slow way. Admiral Zethikol began changing tactics, trying to counter the human advantages. Spread the fleet, he ordered. Small patrol groups instead of large formations. Make them harder to find and attack. It was a smart move, but it came too late. The humans had already studied hegemony tactics for months. They knew how aliens thought, how they planned, how they reacted to problems. They are dividing their forces, Captain Dong-hyun reported. Smaller groups, harder targets. Good, Admiral Taemin replied. Now they are playing our game instead of theirs. Human strategy was built around small, flexible units. The aliens were trying to copy human tactics, but they did not understand the thinking behind them. They saw the surface but missed the depth. Captain Yejin led a raid against one of the new alien patrol groups. Instead of attacking directly, her ships pretended to be damaged and called for help. When the aliens moved in to finish them off, they flew into a trap. Now they know we use deception, Yejin reported after the battle. They will be more careful next time. That is what we want, Taemin said. The more careful they are, the slower they move. Speed is our greatest advantage. Dr. Shung Ho had been working on an even more dangerous weapon. In his laboratory, he studied captured alien technology, learning how their shields and armor worked. Then he designed weapons specifically to defeat those defenses. Admiral, I believe I have created something that will end this war, he announced during a briefing. What is it? Taemin asked. A quantum disruption bomb. It does not destroy matter like a normal explosion. Instead, it breaks the bonds that hold atoms together. Anything caught in the field simply stops existing. The room fell silent. Such a weapon could destroy entire fleets with a single shot. How large is the effect? General Woo Jin asked quietly. That depends on the size of the bomb. A small one could destroy a single ship. A large one. Dr. Shung Ho paused. A large one could destroy a solar system. Admiral Taemin studied the weapon plans. Fear spread through the galactic hegemony like a disease. For the first time in 10,000 years, their mighty empire was losing a war. Admiral Zethikol had lost 2/3 of his fleet to human attacks, and the enemy still seemed to be everywhere, at once. General Ki Young led the newest human assault on the industrial world of Centauri 7. His ground forces moved like shadows through the alien city, capturing factories and weapon plants before the defenders knew they were under attack. Target secured, Ki Young reported to Admiral Taemin. We now control their main manufacturing center for this sector. But the humans were not just taking alien facilities. They were studying them, learning how they worked and making them better. Dr. Shung Ho's teams of scientists followed behind every attack, collecting alien technology like hungry students. Look at this, Dr. Shung Ho said as he examined a captured alien shield generator. They have been using the same design for 3,000 years. It works, but it is wasteful. We can make it twice as powerful with half the energy. Within weeks, human ships began appearing with hybrid technology. They used Corvani armor plating, but made it lighter and stronger. They copied Vorthak energy weapons, but improved their targeting systems. They stole Zentari shield designs and made them adapt automatically to incoming attacks. The aliens watched in horror as their own weapons were turned against them, but used better than they had ever been able to use them. Commander Nayan led the most advanced human fighter squadron. Her pilots flew ships that were part human engineering, part captured alien technology, and part pure innovation. They could outrun anything in space and hit targets that seemed impossible to reach. Enemy patrol approaching, her wingman reported. Let them come, Nayan replied. Time to show them how their own weapons really work. The alien ships fired first, using energy beams that had dominated space battles for millennia. But the human fighters moved in ways that seemed to break the laws of physics. They spun, rolled, and twisted through the alien fire, then struck back with weapons that the aliens recognized but could not defend against. How are they doing that? The alien commander screamed as his ships exploded around him. Those are our weapons, our technology, but in human hands, the technology performed miracles that its original creators had never imagined. Captain Boram commanded the Human Psychological Warfare Division. Her job was to break the enemy's will to fight by showing them how hopeless their situation had become. She broadcast messages across hegemony space, messages that carried a simple truth. Surrender now or face extinction, the broadcast said. You have seen what happens to those who fight us. We do not just defeat our enemies, we surpass them. We take your best weapons and make them better. We take your strongest defenses and break through them. There is no escape. There is no victory. There is only surrender or death. The broadcast included footage from recent battles. Alien worlds that had stood unconquered for thousands of years now lay in ruins. Fleets that had never known defeat were floating debris. Most terrifying of all, the humans seemed to be getting stronger with every victory. The psychological campaign worked too well. Entire alien species began to surrender without fighting. The Threnodi were the first, sending ambassadors to Admiral Taemin with an offer of complete submission. We will serve humanity, their ambassador said, his translator, device making his words sound hollow and mechanical. We have seen what you do to your enemies. We choose to live. More species followed. The Yeltani, who had been part of the hegemony for 6,000 years, declared independence and asked for human protection. The Karashi sent their entire fleet to join the human forces. The Valdoran Empire, which controlled 50 star systems, offered to become a human colony. Emperor Kolthrun watched his empire crumble from his crystal throne. Species that had served the hegemony for millennia were abandoning him to join the humans, not because they loved humanity, but because they feared it. How many have we lost? He asked High Counselor Vextar. 7 species have surrendered to the humans. 3 more have declared neutrality. The Corvani and Vorthak remain loyal, but they are requesting permission to evacuate their home worlds. The Emperor's ancient eyes glowed with rage. Evacuate? They want to run from these primitive apis. My lord, the humans have destroyed everything they have touched. Our generals believe. Our generals are cowards. Kolthrun rose from his throne, his voice echoing through the great hall. Send word to Admiral Zethkol. Tell him to gather every remaining ship. We make our final stand at the capital system. Counselor Jethmar, one of the few voices of reason left in the government, stepped forward carefully. Emperor, perhaps we should consider negotiation. The humans might accept never. Kolthron's roar shook the crystal walls. The hegemony does not surrender to inferior species. But privately, Jethmar had already begun secret communications with the human government. He had studied the human broadcasts and understood something that the Emperor refused to see. The humans were offering mercy to those who surrendered early, but that mercy would not last forever. Admiral Tae Min received Jethmar's secret messages in his command center. The alien counselor was offering to help humans capture the hegemony capital in exchange for protection for his people. Can we trust him? General Wu Jin asked. It does not matter, Tae Min replied. We are already planning to attack their capital. If he helps us, fewer humans die. If he betrays us, we are no worse off than before. Captain Sora studied the intelligence reports coming from their new alien allies. The information was incredible. Fleet positions, defense plans, even the personal schedules of enemy commanders. It was as if the hegemony was fighting with their battle plans visible to everyone. Admiral, we have a problem, she reported. The enemy is gathering everything they have left at their capital system. Over 3,000 ships plus orbital defense platforms. It will be the biggest space battle in galactic history. Admiral Tae Min nodded. He had expected this. Cornered enemies always fought hardest in their final moments. How many ships do we have? He asked. 800 human vessels plus about 200 from our new allies, Captain Sora answered. We are still outnumbered 3-1, but we have advantages they do not, General Ki Young added. Their ships follow predictable patterns. Our ships adapt. Their weapons use old technology. Ours use their technology, but better. Dr. Sheng Ho entered the command room carrying a small device that seemed to bend light around itself. Admiral, the quantum disruption weapon is ready. 1 bomb as you ordered. Tae Min took the device carefully. It was smaller than he had expected, no bigger than a human head, yet it contained enough power to destroy an entire solar system. Hope we do not need to use it, he said quietly. Sir, Captain Hyunsu's voice came over the communication system. I am in position near the enemy capital. They are evacuating civilian populations to underground shelters. Military families are being sent to distant colonies. They are preparing for a siege. Admiral Tae Min looked around at his commanders. These people had started the war as defenders of one small world. Now they commanded fleets that made alien empires tremble. Send a final message to Emperor Kolthron, Tae Min ordered. One last chance for surrender. The message was simple and direct. Emperor Kolthron, you have seen what happens to those who fight humanity. Your fleets are destroyed. Your allies have abandoned you. Your empire is falling apart. Surrender now and your people will be treated fairly. Continue to resist and face complete destruction. You have 24 hours to decide. On his crystal throne, Emperor Kolthron read the human message with growing fury. 10,000 years of conquest and now these young creatures dared to demand his surrender. Send our reply, he told his communications officer. The message that went back to Admiral Tae Min contained only 2 words. Come and take it. Tae Min read the Emperor's response and felt something close to sadness. The alien ruler was brave, but his bravery would cost millions of lives. All fleet commanders prepare for final assault, he ordered. Target the hegemony capital system. We end this war once and for all. Commander Nayan prepared her fighter squadrons for the biggest battle they had ever faced. Her pilots were eager for combat, but she knew that many would not survive the Itai coming fight. Listen carefully, she told them during the final briefing. We are about to face every ship the enemy has left. They will fight harder than they ever have before because they know this is their last chance. But remember what we have learned. We are faster. We are smarter. We are more adaptable. And most important, we fight for the survival of our species. General Ke Young gathered his ground assault forces. If the space battle went well, they would need to capture the enemy capital planet. If it went badly, they might be the last human military force left alive. The aliens will throw everything at us, he told his soldiers. Every weapon, every trick, every desperate tactic they can think of. But we have something they do not understand. We have the will to do whatever it takes to win. Captain Boram prepared one final broadcast to the enemy forces. This time her message would go directly to alien soldiers and ship crews, not their commanders. Warriors of the hegemony, her voice said across enemy communication channels. Look around you, your empire is dying. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the hegemony capital system. Admiral Taman stood on his command bridge, looking at the sight that would become legend throughout the galaxy. 50,000 human ships stretched across space like a metal constellation. Each vessel was different, combining human engineering with captured alien technology. They had started the war with 300 small ships. Now they commanded the largest fleet in galactic history. Fleet Commander Jae-hyun report. Taman ordered. Jae-hyun was Taman's second-in-command, a calm man who could coordinate thousands of ships like a musician directing an orchestra. All vessels in position, Admiral. Human forces total 47,000 ships. Allied forces number 3,000. We are ready for battle. On the enemy side, Emperor Kolthron watched the approaching human armada from his command center on the capital world. Even he, who had conquered half the galaxy, had never seen so many warships in one place. How many? He asked Admiral Zethkol. 50,000 ships, my lord. Maybe more. They fill space from horizon to horizon. The Emperor's ancient hands gripped his command throne. And our forces? 3,000 ships plus orbital defense platforms. We are outnumbered 17-1. For the first time in his long life, Emperor Kolthron felt true fear, but he was too proud to show it. Then we die with honor, he said. All ships attack formation. The battle began with the aliens firing first. 3,000 ships and 100 defense platforms unleashed their weapons at once. Energy beams that could melt mountains reached across space toward the human fleet. But the humans did not fight like the aliens expected. Instead of charging forward in neat formations, the human ships scattered like seeds in the wind. Some flew up, others down, still others to the sides. The alien weapons, aimed at where they thought the humans would be, struck empty space. Captain. Soo-jin commanded humanity's newest weapon, the experimental ship Prometheus. It was bigger than any vessel humans had built before, bristling with technologies taken from a dozen different alien species. Target the defense platforms first, she ordered her crew. Clear a path for the main assault. The Prometheus fired, weapons that no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. Instead of energy beams or explosive missiles, it launched something that looked like liquid starlight. When the strange weapon touched an alien defense platform, the massive structure simply vanished as if it had never existed. What was that? Admiral Zethkol screamed as platform after platform disappeared. His science officer studied the readings, with growing horror. Sir, I do not understand. The platforms are not being destroyed. They are being unmade. The very atoms are coming apart. It was Dr. Sung-ho's quantum disruption technology, refined and perfected. The weapon did not break things. It convinced the universe that those things had never been built. Commander Na-yeon led her fighter squadrons through the chaos of battle. Her pilots flew ships that were part human design, part alien technology, and part pure innovation. They moved through enemy fire like dancing shadows, impossible to catch or predict. Dragon Squadron, focus on their command ships, she ordered over the radio. Cut off the head, and the body dies. The alien fleet was still fighting like armies had fought for thousands of years, big ships in straight lines following ancient tactics. But the human fighters struck like lightning, hitting weak spots that the aliens had never thought to protect. General Ki-young's assault transports pushed through the orbital battle toward the planet's surface. His job was to capture the enemy capital while the space battle raged above. His troops were ready for the fight of their lives. Remember, he told his soldiers as their ships descended through the atmosphere, the aliens are bigger and stronger than us, but we are smarter and faster. Use every advantage we have. Emperor Kolthron watched the battle from his palace, seeing his mighty fleet torn apart by the impossible human tactics. Ships that had ruled space for millennia exploded like firecrackers. Defense stations that had never been breached disappeared into nothingness. My lord, Counselor Jethmar approached carefully. Perhaps now is the time to consider surrender. Your people, my people do not surrender, Colthran roared. Signal all ships, ramming speed. If we cannot defeat them with weapons, we will defeat them with courage. The remaining alien ships turned toward the human fleet, engines at maximum power. It was a desperate tactic. Crash into the enemy ships and destroy them both. A final gesture of defiance from a dying empire, but Admiral Taman had expected this. All ships' evasive maneuvers, do not let them reach us. The human vessels moved like living things, dodging the charging alien ships with impossible grace. The aliens found themselves chasing shadows, their desperate sacrifice attacks hitting nothing but empty space. Captain Su Jin watched the alien ships burning themselves out in futile charges. Admiral, requesting permission to end this. Granted, Taman replied grimly. The Prometheus fired its ultimate weapon, a quantum disruption bomb that had been miniaturized and refined for ship-to-ship combat. The weapon struck the center of the alien formation and expanded like a bubble of non-existence. Ships, weapons, even the light itself simply stopped being. In seconds, the entire remaining alien fleet was gone. Not destroyed, erased from reality, as if it had never existed. The space battle was over. 50,000 human ships faced no opposition. The greatest military force in galactic history had been defeated in less than 2 hours. On the planet below, General Ki Young's troops landed in the capital city. They expected fierce resistance from the alien army. Instead, they found soldiers, laying down their weapons and civilians hiding in their homes. The fleet is gone, alien voices whispered on their communication channels. The Empire is finished. Why die for a lost cause? Ambassador Minho arrived with the final surrender terms. He was a diplomatic man, trained in the art of ending wars. His job was to give the aliens one last choice. He found Emperor Colthran in his crystal palace, sitting alone on his throne. The ancient ruler looked older than his 10,000 years, the weight of total defeat crushing his spirit. Emperor Colthran, Minho said respectfully, I bring terms from Admiral Taman and the human government. Terms? The Emperor's voice was hollow. What terms can there be? You have destroyed everything I built. The terms are simple, Minho replied. Complete surrender of all hegemony forces. Integration of your species into a new galactic order led by humanity. Your people will be treated fairly, but they will be ruled by human law. And if I refuse? Minho's voice remained calm, but his words carried the weight of absolute certainty. Then your species dies. Every world, every ship, every individual. We have the power to erase entire solar systems from existence. We prefer not to use it, but we will, if necessary. Emperor Colthran looked around his empty throne room. His empire was gone. His armies were defeated. His people were surrendering in every system. The choice was no choice at all. I surrender, he whispered. The words were broadcast across the galaxy. The galactic hegemony which had ruled for 10,000 years was finished. Humanity, a species that had learned to fly between stars only 50 years ago, now controlled half the galaxy. Admiral Taman stood on his flagship, looking out at the captured enemy capital world. Human transports were already landing, bringing administrators and engineers to begin the work of building a new order. Admiral, Fleet Commander Jae-hyun approached. What are your orders for the occupied worlds? Treat the aliens fairly, Taman replied. They fought bravely, but make sure they understand the new reality. Humanity leads now. Those who accept this will prosper. Those who resist will be removed. Captain Sora joined them at the observation window. It is hard to believe we won. When this started, they had 10,000 ships and we had 300. Numbers were never the real battle, Taman said. The real battle was between old thinking and new thinking, between species that could not change and a species that never stops changing. Dr. Sung-ho was already studying captured alien technology, looking for new ways to improve human capabilities. His teams had collected scientific knowledge from 12 different species, knowledge that had taken them thousands of years to develop. Admiral, with what we have learned, We can build ships twice as fast as anything that currently exists. We can create weapons that reshape matter at the quantum level. We can travel between galaxies in months instead of years. The human victory was complete, but it was also the beginning of something larger. Humanity had proven that they were the galaxy's new dominant species. Now they had to decide what to do with that power. On worlds across former hegemony space, alien populations watched human ships arrive. Some were afraid, others were curious. A few were hopeful that new leadership might bring positive changes. The humans made their message clear through Ambassador Minho's broadcasts. We do not seek to destroy other species. We seek to lead them toward a better future. Those who join us willingly will be partners. Those who oppose us will be removed. The choice is yours. Most aliens chose to join. They had seen what happened to those who fought humanity. Better to live under human rule than to not live at all. Commander Na Yan was promoted to admiral and given command of the new Galactic Patrol Force.